Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered, how did all of this begin? It's a question that has captivated humanity for centuries. Today, we're going on an epic journey, a cosmic road trip spanning billions of years, from the very first moment of existence to the first spark of life. Buckle up, because we're about to rewind time all the way to the beginning. It was the explosion of space itself. But as the universe expanded, it cooled down. Still, it was a dark, foggy cosmos. Photons could travel unimpeded across the cosmos for the first time. This first light is something we can still detect today, a faint afterglow of creation known as the cosmic microwave background. The universe was no longer a fog, it was transparent. The cosmic dark ages began. Now, when I say dark ages, I mean it. For hundreds of millions of years, the universe was filled with vast clouds of hydrogen and helium, but there were no stars to light it up. It was a silent, dark expanse. But it wasn't perfectly uniform. Tiny, almost imperceptible variations in density existed in these gas clouds. And gravity, the quiet, patient architect of the cosmos, got to work. Over millions of years, gravity patiently pulled these denser regions of gas together. They grew larger, denser, and hotter. The pressure and temperature at their cores skyrocketed until a critical point was reached. A new fire was lit in the cosmos. Nuclear fusion. The first stars ignited, ending the dark ages and bathing the universe in light for the first time since the initial flash. These first-generation stars were true giants, hundreds of times more massive than our sun, and they burned bright and fast. Inside the fiery hearts of these stars, a miraculous process was unfolding. The immense heat and pressure fused hydrogen and helium into heavier elements, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, iron. The very elements that are essential for life were being forged in these stellar furnaces. These first stars lived short, dramatic lives. When they exhausted their fuel, they exploded in cataclysmic events called supernova, scattering these newly created heavy elements across the vastness of space. These elements became the seeds for the next generation. The enriched gas clouds collapsed to form new stars and, for the first time, planetary systems. Our own solar system is a third-generation product of this cosmic recycling program. About 9 billion years after the Big Bang, or 4.6 billion years ago, a particular cloud of gas and dust in a quiet corner of the Milky Way galaxy began to collapse. At its center, the material clumped together to form a protostar, our Sun. The remaining dust and gas swirled around it in a flat, spinning disk. Within this protoplanetary disk, tiny grains of dust stuck together, a bit like dust bunnies under your bed. Through a process called accretion, these clumps grew larger into pebbles, then boulders, then planetesimals, and finally, into the planets we know today, including our own beautiful, blue marble. Earth. Early Earth was not the welcoming home it is today. It was a molten, hostile world, constantly bombarded by asteroids and comets left over from the formation of the solar system. This period, called the Hadean Eon, was like a planetary inferno. Volcanoes spewed gases, forming a primitive, toxic atmosphere, completely devoid of oxygen. But this chaotic bombardment also delivered a precious gift: water, frozen inside comets and asteroids, which would eventually form our oceans. As Earth began to cool, a crust formed on its surface. Water vapor in the atmosphere condensed and fell as rain, initiating a torrential downpour that lasted for millions of years, filling the basins and creating the first oceans. By about 4 billion years ago, the Earth was a water world, but it was still a sterile one. The stage was set, the ingredients were present, but the show hadn't started yet. So, how did life begin? This is one of the biggest unanswered questions in science, but we have some compelling ideas. The early oceans were a warm, chemical-rich soup, often called the primordial soup. They were full of simple organic molecules, the building blocks of life, formed either here on Earth through lightning strikes and volcanic activity, or delivered from space by meteorites. Somewhere in this chemical broth, perhaps in sun-drenched tidal pools, or clinging to the mineral surfaces of deep-sea hydrothermal vents, something incredible happened. Simple molecules began to self-assemble into more complex structures. Perhaps RNA, a simpler cousin of DNA, formed first. It could store information and act as an enzyme to speed up reactions. This is the RNA world hypothesis. Eventually, these self-replicating molecules became enclosed within a simple membrane, a lipid bubble, creating the first protocells. This was a monumental step. For the first time, there was a clear boundary between life and the outside world. Insides where the chemistry of life could be controlled and refined. Around 3.5 to 3.8 billion years ago, the first true life emerged. These were simple, single-celled organisms, similar to modern bacteria. They were the last universal common ancestor, or Lucae, from which every living thing on Earth, from a tiny microbe to a giant blue whale, from a mushroom to you and me, is descended. The long, silent journey of the cosmos had finally led to a planet that was alive. From the singular point of the Big Bang, through the forging of elements in dying stars, to the chaotic formation of our planet and the quiet chemical dance in a primordial ocean, the universe has been on an incredible journey. And the most amazing part, that journey wasn't just about creating stars and galaxies. It was about creating the conditions for us to be here, to look up at the sky, and to wonder how it all began. Thank you so much for joining me on this cosmic adventure today, too. It's a story that connects every single one of us to the grandest story of all. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the wonders of our universe. Let me know in the comments what part of this epic story fascinates you the most. See you in the next video.